So a lot of times I get asked, so what's it take to be the CEO or somebody who should be a candidate for the CEO of an organization, and how are things changing in the modern era? I think number one, I think the notion of being global is coming home to roost. Even in the U.S., where typically, a U.S. person might have done some expat assignment or not, or just run a global business, and that was enough to be considered a global executive. I think what I'm seeing with a lot of my U.S. clients now is the notion that they want somebody to have lived outside the U.S., and B, they're looking at non-U.S. candidates to actually run a U.S.-based public company. So the notion of globality and international, and do you understand the emerging markets? Do you understand Eastern Europe? Do you understand the BRIC countries? Do you understand Brazil? Do you understand China? And are you agile as a leader in terms of looking at the opportunities for the organization going forward? I think number two, I think that there was a misnomer in the management literature about what you do as a CEO. And that misnomer is, when people get the role, a lot of times I'll coach them and they think that they need to be at 50,000 feet and, inspiring and motivating and those sorts of things. And I think all of that is good, but the very best CEOs in the world run their company. They don't have an entourage with them. They don't need an entourage with them. They understand how the company makes and loses money. They understand the people inside the organization, not just their direct reports, but, +2 and +3. They know who those people are. They've met them. They spend time with them. And they ruthlessly drive the organization from a detail point of view. A lot of people have this bad image of micromanagement, and I think obviously that is bad, but what I do think is good is a term I call micro-leadership, which is you're not actually doing the work for people, but you are across the details sufficiently that you know what's going on inside your organization. And I think the art of the CEO in the 21st century, they're a combination of three things. They're the CEO, they're the COO, and they're the CFO. And encapsulated in an individual is somebody who's financially literate, who's operationally literate, and then who's also literate in the external environment. The challenge for CEOs in the 21st century, though, is constituency management. We have regulatory bodies now. We have huge amount of government influence now. And we have all of the regular constituencies, customers, suppliers, partners, analysts, shareholders. And what the challenge for CEOs in the modern era is, how do you do all of that stuff and still run the company? And I predict that what we're going to see over time is more co-leadership roles, or the reestablishment of the chief operating officer, so you have an inside-outside person. But some level of complementarity on the senior team to run all of these constituencies well. In the past, other organizations have used the vice chairman title, COO title, the office of the CEO, but some office that helps run the company and can create some redundancy in the leadership team, but can effectively deal with all of the requirements of the role and still get results for shareholders and the company and employees.